Lately, Canada has been pushing hard for electric vehicles, or EVs. The government wants most people to stop buying gas cars by the year 2035 and instead drive electric. But you know, more and more signs are showing this might not work for everyday Canadians. And now, big changes in the United States could shake up the whole plan. In June 2025, Donald Trump signed new rules in the United States that block EV mandates in places like California and 17 other states. That's huge because the US car market is about 10 times bigger than Canada's. And when the US pulls back, Canada may have no choice but to follow. Why? Because car makers won't spend billions making EVs for just Canada if Americans aren't buying them too. The auto industry is deeply connected between our two countries. When the US changes direction, it creates a ripple effect. And honestly, we're already seeing Canadian projects get delayed or cancelled. Experts are now warning that Canada's EV goals might be impossible to meet. Brian Kingston, who speaks for Canadian carmakers, said the government's targets can't be done, and he's not alone. Professors and industry leaders are all saying the same thing: we don't have the charging stations, the supply, or the demand. Let's be honest, most Canadians just aren't ready for EVs. They cost too much. They don't go far enough on one charge. And you know, they don't handle our winters well. We live in a huge, cold country where people often drive long distances. For many of us, especially in rural areas or small towns, EVs just don't cut it. A big issue is price. Even with government rebates, EVs are still too expensive for a lot of working families. And honestly, many lower-income Canadians live in apartments or condos with no way to charge an EV at home. That makes owning one really tough. You shouldn't have to be rich or live in a fancy house to drive a car that works for your lifestyle. In fact, fewer people are even interested in buying EVs now. A few years ago, about 68% of Canadians were considering them. Now it's down to just 42%. That's a big drop. Why? Because people are realizing EVs aren't as practical as they were led to believe. Charging takes time, long trips are stressful, and cold weather kills battery life. And despite pouring billions into EV plants and battery factories, Canada isn't seeing results. Northvolt, a company planning a giant battery plant in Quebec, went bankrupt. Honda delayed its $15 billion EV plant in Ontario by 2 years. Even the number of EVs sold in Canada dropped by more than half in just 1 quarter. That's not what success looks like. Meanwhile, Trump is backing away from EV mandates in the United States, slashing tax credits and giving states like California less power to enforce strict rules. That's going to slow down EV production across North America. If Canada tries to keep pushing ahead alone, we'll be out of sync with the United States and the industry as a whole. That could cost us even more money and jobs. It's time to face the facts. EVs may sound great in a speech, but they don't work for the majority of Canadians, at least not right now. Maybe someday the technology and infrastructure will catch up, but honestly, forcing people into EVs before they're ready isn't fair or smart. Instead of following a one-size-fits-all plan, we need to give Canadians real choices. That means supporting gas, hybrid, and electric vehicles, whatever works best for each family. If the United States is smart enough to slow down, maybe it's time our leaders do the same. Subscribe and follow, and please leave your thoughts on this topic in the comments.